If you are using Tailwind CSS, then this is the perfect tool for you. We're going to create in this video a Tailwind CSS card generator, meaning we can have our inputs here, a title, a description, a background color, a text color, a button text, and a button color. And then if we click on generate, this is going to generate for us a perfectly Tailwind CSS adapted card, and of course the code ready to be copied to the clipboard for you. If you want to make any kind of changes, of course you can do it on the fly. Let's change the button to green, let's change the text to blue, and let's change the background to yellow. This is going to be pretty ugly, but hey, there we go. There's our new card, and there's our new code with a green background, the green button color, a different text color, and a different background color. Okay, so hope you're excited for the video. As always, my name is Norbert BM, teaching you web development. So don't forget to hit the like button, share this video, and of course subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell in order to get notified whenever we post new videos like this. With this being said, let's get started with the video. Oh, by the way, the entire code is down in the video description below, and I'm also going to go extremely quickly through this code. I'm going to do a bit of copy and paste, but a lot of explaining. So let's drag this to the side. I have Visual Studio Code opened with a simple folder code. As always, we have our index.html file and a code.jss file. Now within our index.html file, we're going to start with the boilerplate. I'm not going to give this any kind of name, but what we do need is the CDN for Tailwind CSS. Now this is pretty straightforward. You're just going to type in underneath your title or above the title a script with the source of https column / cdn.tailwindcss in only one word .com, close the script tag, and you should be good to go. Actually, let me just copy, open this up. It's going to be our new project. There should be a blank page. And now if I copy this code, paste it in here into the body, we should already get our card. There we go. I know what, let's change. It's so ugly. I have to go with a, of course, white color. Yep, copy the code, paste it in here, and we should get now a different, there we go, a different card. Okay, so let's get started with the code itself. Once again, a quick reminder, the code is down in the video description. The link for the source code is down in the video description. Also, you're going to find a couple of courses. And by the way, by creating this project, reminded me that I never did a Tailwind CSS course. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be in the near future, actually this year, even a complete Tailwind CSS and JavaScript course. So stay tuned, stay subscribed, click the notification bell, and we'll get notified when this course will be out. Okay, so let's get started with our code here. First things first, we're going to give the body a general style, meaning that just going to add a couple of classes, a gray background. As you can see, it's already changing here. Now there are a couple of main components to this code. First, we're going to have our large container, which is going to be just a div with a class of max-width-4 times XL, and then .mx and auto, meaning giving the margins auto on the x-axis. Now let's give this puppy a title, h1 with the classes text 3XL, the font of bold, the margin to the bottom of 6, and text center, as you can see here. Right after our title, we're going to have our first area, which is going to be the copy in what we're going to do here. So we're going to have an input area, then we're going to have that input area title area, then the description of our card. As you can see here in our finished project, we're going to input our title, our descriptions. These are going to be in the input area. Then we're going to select, so we're going to add a selector here, our background color. After that, we're going to be able to select the text color, and after that we're going to set the text of the button and of course the color of the button. Now in the course, I'm thinking of creating multiple optionalities here, for example to set the button to the left or the right, or to have it as a fully width button, and also the fonts will be changeable on the title and the description. Now let's move on, because we're going to have after this our preview area, which is going to be preceded by a preview button, which we click. We're going to get the code and the preview. So we're going to display here the card, and after we're going to display the card, we're going to also display the affiliated code to it. So let's get started with our input area, which is going to, let's see, have all these in it. So for the input area, we'll add here the container for that input area, which is going to be a div. Just also close up this div. There we go. And we're going to move now all of these comments in here. So let's get started with the title. Now everything will be packed in a form. So right our H2, we're going to create a form and pass all of these comments into the form. They're all going to be input tags. So let's get started with the very first one, which is going to be the title. It's a very simple one. We're going to have a container for the input. So closing up the left part here with a margin to the bottom of 4. Then, of course, a label. Let's take a look at it here. A label for the title. There's a label. And then we're going to have the input tag itself. The input tag will have an ID, which we're going to grab onto later on using JavaScript, and then a couple of classes, margin top, padding, all around padding, block, width, full, a bit of shadow. Then on a smaller screen, we're going to change the text to a smaller size, font bold, and border gray and rounded MD. And of course, with the placeholder of cart title, and we can change this. Also, if you type in here different title, here, my title here from cart title will change to my title. Okay, let's move on to the description area. Pretty much the same thing. Again, a container div having just a label and a text area now for the input instead of a regular input, because we need more space. Maybe we want to type up a lot of stuff here. So we do need that space that is going to be guaranteed through the text area. It's going to have the ID of description, which we're going to grab on later on through JavaScript. All right, now let's move on to the background color. Background color will be hosted by, again, a container, but this time we're going to have a select tag with a couple of options. You can change these options. You can do here a slate, say slate and 500, instead of just a gray color. And let me just show you what this will do. Instead of gray, and also let's change the description of dark, not gray anymore. So generate this, resulting in a dark color. So let's change the text color. Hey, we don't have white, so we need to add a white color when we're going to come to the text part. Okay, next up, let's move down to the text color. So text color is going to be composed of another div container with a label, select the text of the ID of text color, and of course a couple of options. Again, add them or subtract them as you wish. Next up, let's work on our button. The text that is going to be filled in our button. There we go. And then we're going to have our button color functionality, which again is going to be composed of a container and a couple of options. Now let's move down to the preview button. This is going to conclude our form, so this should be actually up here, because this is going to trigger then the form submission, meaning that we need to have the type of button here in order to not trigger the form, but we're going to trigger each and every input individually from these input fields by using this button. Of course, we're going to have the ID of generate card, which is going to help us generate the card. Now for the card preview area. Pretty simple, just a title with an H2 and then a div, which is going to have the ID of card preview, then its affiliated classes. Now last but not least, we need our code generator, of course, which is the most important part, or almost the most important part, giving us the possibility to copy also the code from the clipboard. Okay, let's also link up our script file. So we're going to go down here, script, and with the source of card.js, and we can now move on to our JavaScript. So let's open up the JavaScript file, and let's do here a quick document.get element by ID, and we're going to grab on to the ID of generate card. We're going to add to this a onClick event listener, then a arrow function, and this is going to trigger the entire code, meaning we are going to have a couple of variables. We're going to start out with a const for the title input. Now we're going to grab on here to the value or whatever is in the input, but I could just add here the input itself, so cart title. So basically, if this value would not be available, then we're going to move to the next best thing, and that is whatever is in our string here. Now we're going to do this for all of the elements that we need, meaning we're going to grab onto the description, document.get element by ID, the description and its value or whatever is in the string. Then we're going to grab onto the background color, the text color, the button text, and the button color. Last but not least, we need to generate the HTML. Remember to stay within the curly brackets. within here, we're going to use backticks, meaning temporary literals, in order to generate a variable called card HTML. Within here, we're going to add our variables as placeholders. Now we're going to create the card itself and input here whatever values we're getting from our variables. In order to display the preview, we'll need to grab onto the card preview area and then its inner HTML and replace it with whatever our card HTML variable displays here. Also, in order to grab the code, pretty simple, we're just going to grab onto whatever we typed in here and display it now as a value for the generated code ID. Remember, this one is just a plain text area. Just here. So this should be already working. If you click here on generate, you should get a card. Let's change this to dark and let's go to red this time. There we go. Oh, this is pretty awful. Now, of course, you can increase or decrease the font styles here. Also, let's do here a red button. Oh, that's just awful. But you get the idea. Now, in order to grab onto the code, you still need to add here the functionality of copy to clipboard. This is also pretty simple. We're going to just, now remember to move outside the curly brackets. In order to copy the code, we're going to select from the document using the ID of copy code, which is this button. Then we're going to add an on-click event to it. And then we're going to create a variable called generated code, which is going to go to the document, get element by ID. We're going to grab onto the generated code. Then it's going to select it. Then the set selection range will be, well, because this is a code area from 0 to 99,999. And then we're going to document execute command of copy and alert copy code to clipboard. Just going to be a windows.alert. So let's try this out. Copy the code and we should get our alert and the code was copied. So if I would paste it in here, you can see that code. Perfect. So that's pretty much it for this simple project. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell in order to get notified whenever I post new videos. My name is Norbert BM, and I'm going to teach you web development, so stick around and listen. Ladies and gentlemen, catch you next time. Happy coding. Bye-bye.